Hey guys, it's Jan, Not a Real Farm. So I am outside this morning, digging in the garden beds, prepping the garden beds, getting them ready for fall crops like garlic, and really taking out a lot of the stuff that has gone to seed. So first thing I started with was potatoes, and I'm not quite finished that. But then the secondary thing that I've been pulling out is the provider beans, because the provider beans, now all they need to do is they need to dry. They've all gone to seed pretty much. And now we're just waiting for those beans to dry. And so essentially all I do if I'm going to be drying beans is I take the whole plant out. See all the beans there? And then I just hang them up. And that could be somewhere like in the garage, somewhere where it's going to keep sort of dry and warm so that we're able to save those seeds now for next year to grow the provider beans. The potatoes that I dug up this morning, so I finished digging up the rest of the red potatoes. And I also finished digging up a lot of the Yukons and a lot of the purples that I still had. And I still have one more bed full of potatoes that I have to dig yet. So we're really trying to put a lot of things basically to bed. Sorry for the pun. And just get ready for fall, because look at my leaves, guys. They're starting to change. Once they start to change the leaves here, it's not very long until there's snow on the ground. So that's my goal today, is really just pulling everything up that needs to be pulled up and prepping the garden beds now for garlic or anything else that I want to plant over the winter. The carrots are coming along really nicely. We've got nice sized carrots in there, but I'm not ready to really pull those up yet. Our tomatillos are kind of cranky because they like the heat, and it's getting chilly, really chilly at night. And so what's happening with them is while they're developing, they're actually falling. Let's get over here and show you. They're actually falling on the ground, and they're not necessarily fully ready. So this is a big, beautiful crop of tomatillos. I'm hoping, because the next 2 weeks in the daytime temperatures are going to be in the mid 80s, I'm hoping that we'll be able to at least harvest some of these. They're not quite there yet. They haven't really, some of them haven't really filled out the little papers here. Let's see. Let's pick one and see. What I'm looking for when I look at tomatillos is I'm looking for them to sort of already push this back when they're ready. It should sort of peel back on its own. And then I'm looking for this one to be purple. So this is a purple tomatillo. You can see all the purple on the husks here. So what happens is when these are mature, these actually turn purple. So we're not quite there yet. So I'm hoping the next 2 weeks with weather will really make a difference. Let's take a look at maybe one of these ones that fell on the ground here. Here we go. So do you see how they kind of lose their green and then they turn, then they turn purple? That's what I'm looking for. So this one we could technically use if we left it just a little bit longer. I'm going to assume that this one is the same. So he's got a little blossom and rot just because he fell off earlier, but you can see that he started getting that purple color. So I'm not sure if I'm going to get a crop out of these, because the cold weather at night came a little bit too soon. And even though they look great, they may not necessarily develop. So we will see what happens with these. The raspberries have been doing amazing. This one is totally ready to go. And we've been doing nothing but eating raspberries off of these, and I didn't think we were going to get a crop this year. So I'm really happy about that. Our tomatoes, I'm eating a raspberry, guys, sorry. Tomatoes, fantastic. Look how purple these are. So it's a little slow, but we might get a crop out of some of this stuff. I'll show you the update just with our tomatoes over here. These are my delicious tomatoes, so just for reference, you can see how much bigger they are than my hand, and we're just starting to get that sort of pinky sort of blush, even with the ones on the bottom there. So my guess is probably in the next week or so, we will have those to pick, which I can't wait. And once again, we have our Sartre OS, which is the purple ones here. And those will definitely turn color, no problem. So the other cool thing that was sort of buried underneath everything here was my shallots. And so we can now start to pick out the shallots. And we can move these somewhere else. So we'll replant these, we'll cure them, we will replant these probably in the next couple of weeks. And hopefully what we can do is we can use some of the green onions that are actually on here. But we're actually gonna create a shallot bed. All right, so today we're going a little bit backwards. We started outside, now we're inside the greenhouse. Look at the big, beautiful sunflowers. So these sunflowers, guys, are way up there. And these are my sunflower mix. So we have the nice yellow ones, but then we also have red ones. So we have like a velvet queen mixed in with that. And they're already starting to go to seed. Look how high up this one is. Way up there. So these sunflowers, we've decided, are pushing pretty much almost 12 feet. I don't know yet how I'm going to get the seed out of that, except probably just to cut them down when they're ready and bring in the seed. So it's going to be a challenge. We've been taking things out of the greenhouse now. So a lot of little tomatoes that are done that were determinants are now gone. So we've got some space now in the greenhouse. Our Chinese peppers are putting on new peppers. So we'll be continuing to harvest from that. We've still got some, what I like to call witch finger cayennes. Oops. There we go. How long these are. These are going to be making it into a jar of pickles at some point, a few of these. Our healthy peppers are starting to turn. So we've been harvesting these, but they're definitely slowing down. Let's see here. This, I'm not sure if we're going to be keeping that fruit. It almost looks like the plant's going to abort it, but they are a decent size. We can stuff them. What you'll notice when the season changes, the peppers start to get smaller. Now that the weather's changed, we're getting cauliflower. And I've been saving my cucumber seeds, so check out this guy up here. Look how big he is. So pretty much at this point, when they turn this color, you want to wait a little while longer, and then you can actually scoop out the seeds and keep them for next year. We have pickles up in there. And actually, they're still making pickles. If you look up here, you can see we're still getting that little odd pickle here and there. The cucumbers have actually been very successful this year, so I'm really happy about that. But you can see I'm going to have a challenge getting all the way up there. There's actually pickles all along this vine up in my shade cloth that I'm going to have to get. So we're kind of at that point in the season now where we can start to look at our peanuts. You can see here the peanuts are now starting to die down now that the weather's changed. And that's indicating to me, now that they've flowered and we're all good, that there's actually peanuts underneath the soil here, probably either fully developed or just developing. So why don't we pull the plant and see what it looks like? So we'll take the one over here that the leaves look the most damaged or dying. And let's see if we can pull some up, if there's any peanuts at all. Ah, here we go. So it's kind of like potatoes, where if you don't sort of dig around in the dirt where you pulled out the peanut plant, you'll probably have some more peanuts. But as you can see here, I had an indication at the top of the leaves here that there was something, because it's already flowered and the plant is dying. And then we've got one peanut. Let's see if we have any more. pull it up as gently as I can. There we have 2 peanuts. Check that out. That's really neat. So a lot of these that I grow are sometimes just for seed saving, so that's perfect. Usually there's sometimes 3 seeds, but more than likely 2 seeds per peanut pod. And we'll dig around in the dirt to see if there's any more. But these are brown and solid, just like you'd see in the store. If I crack these open, chances are you're going to see the peanut look exactly the same way you'd see as if you were buying it in the store in terms of just the peanut itself. Let's see if I can crack it open for you. All right. Ah, there we go. So check it out. So basically what you would do is you'd pop this out of the shell, and if you're replanting it again for next year, then we just dry the seeds, and away we go. So that's 2. So chances are right now I've got about 6 peanut seeds. So you can see how much peanuts you'd actually need to plant in order to get yourself a pretty decent crop. A lot of the times, like I said, what I do is I will dry them out and then replant them for next year, just sort of expanding our crop to make it bigger, bigger, and bigger. And so far, so good. I'm here. I might as well do this. Let's pull some more. See if we got any other peanuts. Oh, there we go. We got 1. This one grew 1 peanut. And you kind of just sort around through the dirt and see if you've missed any, and if not, then they're ready to dispose of. Peanuts require a long growing season and a lot of patience because they are very slow growing. They're probably going to take you about 120 days to get any sort of peanut out of them. So you sort of have to leave them in a spot and walk away. Oh, there's one. There we go. So I'm getting singular peanuts so far, but that's okay because we're just using them for seed. What else do we got? Shake that off. There we go. Not bad. Moving on through, we've got our orange bell. So it's finally starting to change color. It took a while. I'm finding that the peppers this year are slow, really slow to get going. We've been pulling a lot of plants out of this section. We've chopped down our tiki torch sunflower because it was at sort of the end. You can see up here I had 2 of them planted. So 1 will definitely be enough. You can see that the seeds are ready to go. And they'll just keep hanging on in there until you actually pick them. These are still changing from green. And these are pretty much almost done. Now, we are still getting tomatoes in the greenhouse. So here is another plant that's just sort of taken off. Of course, it is the Underground Railroad tomato, so you can see I've got 1 more in there. There's still lots of things growing in here. And then we have our fish peppers that are finally changing. So you can see here, our fish peppers go from that nice white green to a hot red, almost like a candy cane. These ones are changing in here too. This plant is still playing catch up, so that's okay. And then one of the stars of the show that I haven't had an opportunity to show you yet is my black paste. And I want to show you ones that are really developed. So let me just see if I can reach in here and grab some. The longer you leave these on, the blacker the shoulders will get, which is really neat. So right now you can see that the black is developing on the shoulders on these ones. So the longer I leave them, the darker they will be. They're actually a really beautiful paste tomato, and they give you a lot of paste tomatoes. So we're going to start seeing those shoulders develop. As a matter of fact, this one is not so bad. So you have a nice red, and then it sort of spirals into this black color. And if you just pop this off the top, you see the difference of the color? Really cool paste tomato. I have made sauce from it. It's probably one of the best paste tomatoes I've made sauce from. Really, really good. Some of these are at the point where they're malleable. There we go. We'll be using these today. Give them a try if you haven't used black paste tomatoes for your spaghetti sauce. Really good. We still have sweetheart tomatoes. So our sweetheart cherries are still putting on tomatoes, so we'll be taking some of those this week. We've saved enough seed from them this year that we don't need to continue. And finally, our mini red bell peppers are available. They took pretty much 80 days to grow, but these are our mini red bells. And they're taking their time this year, just like everything else. But they are cute. If you're looking to stuff a pepper or do something cool for an hors d'oeuvre, they make great little peppers to stuff, snack on, whatever you want to do. But they are definitely one of our favorite little bell peppers. They're a sweet bell pepper, so you're just going to get that sweet bite as if you just bit into a regular bell pepper. And of course, we have our celebrity hybrids, so they are pretty much all the way through here. They grow to be a lovely size. I always do the one hybrid just in case my tomatoes don't turn out. So we've got those. Then we come over to our other cherry tomato, which is a purple rain. I like to call it a purple rain kiss. I do that because a lot of times what happens is this is weather dependent. So if it's warm, you'll get more of a yellow. But as the weather changes, you'll start to get more of that purple on it. So this is a good example here. We can swing her around. See how there's more purple on it now that the weather is cooling off. So these are kind of a cool cherry tomato because you sort of get that different color as time goes on. And they start on a really, really nice purple green and then gradually change. Actually, this one's a good one to show you guys. So you have the yellow, and then now that it's kind of dipped down to the single digit temperatures at night, now you've got more of that purple on the shoulders. So really nice sweet cherry tomato, and very interesting, of course, to look at as time goes on. We have a white bell pepper, but it's got a kiss of purple on it. So kind of like an albino, but it's got that little bit of splash of purple. So hopefully we'll get some more of those. Those are really interesting to look at. We're sort of at that point now, guys. You've been now here with me, a lot of you, for 3.5 years, where we start to sort of wind things down. So things like this, as much as we love the fact they're flowering, we know we're kind of at the end of the season where we're probably not going to get anything from that. And so our next step, now that the weather's changing, is to tackle the horseradish. Thanks for joining me today. If you have any questions, you know where to contact me. Check out our Etsy store for seeds now that we're at that time. See you soon.